Skadoosh! Welcome back, Ninjas. Joey Moss with Bad Boy Gaming. Wow, we have a really exciting one today because the announcement of Slivers is coming back. And we got the spoilers for you. And also some interesting things to point out. Some price points of past Slivers, which have just went berserk during this. The price is just through the roof on some of these old ones. Let's just start breaking down the new Modern Horizons spoilers. These cards are meant to be played in Modern, so keep that in mind. Moving on, Scrapyard Combiner is a 3-drop artifact creature construct. It is a rare with modular 2. What this means, this creature enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies, you may put its +1/+1 counters on target artifact creature. Tap it, sacrifice an artifact, search your library for a construct card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Pretty neat because it basically is acting as a tutor. I'm sure this thing's going to find many places where it can be just extremely broken and busted. These kind of cards do tend to maintain a high price point. Crypt Rats is a 3-drop uncommon creature rat. This thing's really cool because it's a board wipe. You tap X, you pay X, Crypt Rats deals X damage to each creature and each player. Only black mana can be spent on X. That's nuts. Especially even in something like Commander. These kind of cards can, see other formats, of course. Just nothing in Standard. You'll never see these cards in Standard. But Crypt Rats definitely is a card I think a lot of people are going to keep their eye on, and just because of the board wipe and also because it just deals damage to everything. Really cool. Blazing Chant. I want this in foil already. It's a 3-drop and it's a very powerful enchantment. I like the new symbol. We never really said anything about this symbol. What do you guys think of the new symbol? It looks like that, like a vampire kind of thing, maybe like, around the neck, maybe, I don't know. When Blazing Chant enters the battlefield, each opponent gains 10 life. Now keep in mind, there are cards out there where your opponents can't gain life. One just came out, the new Tibalt. He shuts down your opponents from gaining life. Also, there's another card. I'm not sure if it's banned. I know it's banned in Standard. It's still in Standard, but I think it just rotated out. Or did it rotate out last time? Regardless, no, the dinosaur. Yeah, the Menace dinosaur. He's, I think, 3 to bring out, and he has Menace, and your opponents can't gain life. So even like that card, think about that. When you think about Blazing Chant. When Blazing Chant enters the battlefield, each opponent gains 10 life. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a verse counter on Blazing Chant. Then it deals damage equal to the number of verse counters on it to target player or planeswalker. That could definitely be used and abused. You're constantly just dealing more and more damage to your opponent with each and every instant sorcery that you're casting. Very cool. It's going to see some play. I don't know how much. I don't think like a 4 of or something, maybe like a 2 or 3 of in some decks. Time will tell, but nonetheless, I want this sucker in foil. This is Regrowth. Regrowth Sorcery. It's an uncommon. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Very simple, very to the point, really cool. Are we going to ever see, what's it called? Like the reincarnation cards? I can't think of exactly what's called. Regenerate. Are we going to see Regenerate? I don't know. It's a really good question. I wish I wouldn't have skipped up ahead just yet. But here we go. All right, let me get into this. Tempered Sliver. Here's one of the new Slivers. Slivers are an archetype in Magic. If you're an old school player, this is probably your favorite creature type, are Slivers, just because they're so versatile. You can have, I think there's 20 or 30, 40 Slivers out there already, but they all have some unique ability and they all aid another Sliver, I believe, for the most part. Yes. So a Sliver, for example, Sliver creatures you control have, when this creature deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It's a 2/2. So every Sliver, like all Slivers gain Death Touch, or all Slivers have this or that, or all Slivers have haste. It's really cool, and we have a mother load to show you here in just 1 second. So Tempered Sliver is, these cards are just, a lot of us have been really hoping to see, and I just want to read this flavor text. The question isn't whether Slivers will adapt to a world's perils, but whether the world's perils will adapt to the Slivers. I agree. They are that powerful. I don't think we're ever going to see them printed in Standard. It's just probably not going to happen. They're too OP, and they belong somewhere else. Force of Virtue is an enchantment. Neat artwork on this one. If it's not your turn, you may exile a white card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. It has flash. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Think about it this way. On your opponent's turn 1, you can cast this card and exile a white card from your hand. So instantly on your official turn 1, your creature, if it's a 1/1 or let's say, in certain cases a 2/2, there is a creature out there. I think it's the lion or whatever. It is now a 3/3 on turn 1. That's insanity that you can do that. Really, really neat card. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a 2 or 3 of, but really sweet. The fact that you have to exile a white card, if it's at discard, this card would be completely broken, but you have to actually exile it. So a pretty neat card. Giver of Ruins is a 1-drop. Tap another target creature you control gains protection from colorless or from the color of your choice until end of turn. She provides marks of protection to those she chooses as family. Wasn't there Mother of Ruins, I believe was another one? Very similar to this card. This is a 1/2. It's going to see play. It's a core cleric. They could have given it a human, but they just didn't. I mean, actually, I don't think a human has that kind of power. But very powerful card nonetheless. Giver of Ruins is for sure going to see some play. It's only 1 to bring out. It's just madness, man. Lava Belly Sliver. Cool art on this one as well. You got to wonder, how big is that sliver really? I mean, we see some of the brush there and whatnot. But how large are these slivers? Are they like this? When you see a sliver, it's like a little something you get in your hand, But this thing, it's hard to scale, really. I'm not sure. Is that like 8 feet tall, 10 feet tall? I don't know. It's kind of like a snake on like a bunch of like steroids. That's what a sliver reminds me of, It's a 3-drop sliver. Sliver creatures you control have, when this creature enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker, and you gain 1 life. Warm enough to incubate eggs or incinerate those who would eat them. 2/2. Sweet flavor text on that, man. I'm just so excited for these cards. This is going to be a lot of fun to play with. It's probably going to make me branch back into Modern, to be honest. I know you guys have been seeing a lot of my Arena videos lately, but this is probably what I needed to go back to Modern. Goblin Engineer. Sorry about the poor quality on the card itself, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. No one had good quality image of it just yet when I made this video. Creature Goblin Artificer. This one's neat. Pay attention. When Goblin Engineer enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact card. Put it into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. If you spend a red mana, you can tap this, sacrifice an artifact, return target artifact card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's very similar to that the Stoneforge Mystic, and that card was actually banned for a while. So those are some things to consider here. Goblin Engineer, 100% going to see play. It's probably already like a $10, rare, what it's been going for out there. But prices are subject to change. Keep that in mind. So Goblin Engineer, really neat card. Etchings of the Chosen. I don't know why I like this artwork. It's just so plain and simple, but I do like it. Maybe because it's like faded in a sense. Regardless, Orzhov Colors, 3-drop enchantment. It's an uncommon. As Etchings of the Chosen enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. Any creature type you want, you're going to make them more powerful. If you wanted vampires, if you wanted slivers, if you wanted goblins, it doesn't matter what the type is. They're all going to get +1/+1. Of course, they're going to want to fit in the color, scheme here with the Orzhov, but nonetheless. For 1, sacrifice the creature of the chosen type. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. That is a huge perk, and it's not like you're sacrificing this enchantment. You just have to sacrifice a creature of the chosen type, and then another target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. I find this is going to see some play. I like that it's only uncommon, too. I mean, the only thing they could have done maybe was make it like a 2-drop for it to be considered a rare or something. I don't know. But Etchings of the Chosen is a very powerful card. Just imagine some of these in Standard, just how like ridiculously broken they would be. You couldn't have a card like this in Standard. It would just wreck the format, Here she blows, man. The first sliver. Really, is this the first sliver? That's insane. So it's 1 of each color. All right. Now remember, a card just came out yesterday where this card would cost you nothing to cast. It would cost 0 because it pays for one color, or you can only pay for the colored mana of this type, that type, 1 of each. That card would enable this to be just dropped for free as long as the other one's on the battlefield. Legendary creature, Sliver, Cascade. I love Cascade. When you cast this spell, exile a card from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. Sliver spells you cast have Cascade. This thing is stupid, overpowered, ridiculous. I love these. Like anytime you see a Sliver Queen or Sliver Lord or any kind of like really huge, crazy, powerful Sliver that's a mythic, you're guaranteed to see one of each color in the casting cost because they're just that powerful. This putting Cascade on this card. This thing is redunculous. I didn't know what they were going to do when they did bring back Slivers and, give them like another Sliver kind of queen, or Sliver Lord, or just really overpowering Sliver card that's mythic print. I wasn't sure what the next ability they were going to do would be. But Sliver spells you cast have Cascade. So now you're basically just doubling the amount of slivers you're dropping, essentially, is what you're doing. That's insanity, man. Really, really cool card. Sliver Queen. The first Sliver is probably already, I keep saying Sliver Queen for a reason. Wait till you see the next card. The first Sliver is probably going to be a $30, $40 card immediately when it drops. Sliver Queen. I had to mention this. This is really cool. It's one of each color, of course, Summon Legend. Sliver Queen counts as a Sliver. This was printed back in, I want to say Homelands, not Homeland, Stronghold, okay? Around the time when I first got into Magic, I actually have some of these copies. I scooped them up when I heard rumors Slivers were going to be reprinted in Modern. And guess what? I was lucky enough to do that. And my girl even bought one for me. Still haven't completed the Sliver Queen playset. I'm missing one. But now the price is over $200 for near mint condition Sliver Queens. Redunculous. For 2, put a Sliver token into play. Treat this token as a 1/1 colorless creature. Very, very powerful. Sliver Queen is like one of the OGs. I think it was the first Sliver ever printed, or first like Sliver Legend, printed back then. Wait a minute. Was the other, that was Legendary, right? Okay, Legendary creature Sliver. I was a little scared there for a second. Like, that was Legendary, right? Because otherwise, holy brokenness. But really cool, really powerful. Let's imagine Helm of the Host on something like the first Sliver. That's insanity. All right, so there's that. $200 and climbing. Hope you already got your guys' copies because they are skyrocketing, man. Good Fortune Unicorns at 3-drop. I love this card, man. I really do. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. That is big, man. Whenever another creature in the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Just think of all the other things you can do with something like this, like your Hardened Scales, or your anything proliferate. Just you're able to put it on any card now. So essentially, any card it can come out with a +1/+1 counter on it, and then it will benefit from proliferate mechanic. That's just nuts and broken. I'm just saying. Great card. Yeah, it's only on a 2-body. I understand it. Modern's really quick. I understand that as well, guys. A lot of these matches are over by turn 2, turn 3. I understand how Modern is. But really, really cool card. Dredgescape Sliver. Dredge fans, unite. Here you go, man. Sweet artwork as well. It's a 2-drop Sliver. Each Sliver creature card in your graveyard has Unearth for Deuce. What does that mean, Unearth Deuce? For 2, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield, Unearth only has a sorcery. It's a 2/2. Again, yeah, all these Slivers are easily removed, but they're all like really cheap to cast, and they're really powerful. And when you get the right synergy of certain Slivers together, maybe I should make a budget Sliver deck. Maybe just think of that. That'd be a lot of fun, I think. But this is a really cool card, a lot of power, and the fact that each Sliver creature, so not only do Slivers, let's just say they get all these huge crazy perks while they're on the battlefield, but then when they go away, you can easily just bring them all back. I mean, it's just madness, man. It really is. Planebound Accomplice is a 3-drop human wizard. For 1 red source of mana, you may put a Planeswalker card from your hand onto the battlefield, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. I like the flavor of this. Told you I had friends. That's a 1/3. That is so cool. It almost looks like, who's the artwork in the background there? Could that be the Wanderer? I don't know. With the hat off? Maybe. I don't know. I want to find out who the Wanderer is. And what other Planeswalkers are we going to see? That's another good question. Especially in Modern Horizons here. Ranger Captain of Eos is a 3-drop creature human soldier. This creature's creaming, man. Watch out. Mythic. When Ranger Captain of Eos enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 1 or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. Sacrifice Ranger Captain of Eos. Your spells. Your opponent's cast. Sacrifice Ranger, Captain of Eos. Your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. It's a 3/3. That's pretty neato. I mean, you can stop them from doing something, and also you're tutoring up a 1-drop, and we all know there's a lot of 1-drops, especially floating around in Modern, that can really come out and be impactful and do some damage there. It's a great card. If this thing would have said 2 or less, wow, busted. Imagine just tutoring up things of the likes of, what's his name? I can't think off the top of my tongue. Oh my god, it's the Blue Mage. Oh, I just had a brain fart, guys. Someone help me out in the comments. What's his name? The 2-drop mage. Oh, everyone loves him. Oh, I can't think of it. I feel so sad. I'm going back to my corner. No edits here on Bad Boy Gaming. Man o' War is a 3-drop creature jellyfish. It's been printed before. It's back again. When Man o' War enters the battlefield, return target creature to its owner's hand. It's a deuce. Really, really cool. Why can't I think of this? This is going to drive me nuts for like ever now. Oh my gosh. What is his name? He's blue. He's got other nicknames. He's like $80 right now. Somebody help me out, man. I can't think of it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit that like button in the mouth if you enjoy this kind of content. And also, stick around for tonight. We are going to be opening up a ridiculous Japanese booster box. I quadrupled my value. I think maybe times 5 my value when I purchased this thing. It's just ridiculous. You have to see the opening. And we pulled the best card known to man. Spoiler alert. You got to see this video. I flipped the heck out. Skadoosh Ninjas.